Hey, I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain, and today I'm going to show you how to install a Tusk Stage 3 upgrade kit on your Polaris Pro XP. Now, these Stage 3 upgrade kits, these are going to come with the most popular accessories for your side-by-side. It's going to help your machine stand out and help give maximum rider comfort. So what this kit includes is your Tusk Polycarb Removable Full Windshield, you have your pivot folding mirrors, the Force aluminum roof, a Polycarb rear window, and a cargo barricade. Those are the items that come in the kit. I'm going to show you how to get them installed. Right here we have the mirrors. We're going to start out by installing these. So this is the mounting kit that comes with your templates as well as a drill bit, which means you're also going to need a drill. We also have a 16mm combo wrench, a 15mm socket, 8mm Allen socket, then a couple common hand tools. So we've got an alignment punch, a Sharpie, and we're using some soapy water. We're going to start on the driver's side. So the first thing we need to do is pull this rubber boot up and out of the way. And we've got a speaker wire in here. We're going to disconnect this connection. There's a little tab you're going to press down on. Then we're going to remove both of the A-pillar bolts. And we're not going to reuse these, but there's some nylock nuts on the back side that will be reused. Next, I'm going to install the mirror mount. So first we need to prep it. So we're going to remove this jam nut. Then we've got the two M10 by 50mm bolts. Those are going to go through the cage. And if they don't line up very good, you can always use an alignment punch to get the cage lined up. Then we're just going to use the stock nylock nuts. And we'll tighten both bolts down. Then we'll go ahead and do the same process on the other side. Next, we need to drill a hole into this rubber boot. Obviously, ours is already done, but we're still going to show you the process. So to do that, we're starting on the passenger side. So we're going to use the passenger side template. This is just a sticker. And we're going to line it up with the lines on this boot. So with that lined up, I'm just going to use the drill right into this. You can see where you're supposed to, but if you want, you can poke that little piece out and mark it with a Sharpie. And then with your drill, obviously we're using that drill bit that came in our kit, and you're going to want to make sure that you don't damage anything when you drill through, because this boot is pretty close to that A-pillar and you've got these wires behind there. So just make sure you keep track of those and keep them out of the way. And a slow speed is going to work best when you do this. Then we'll go ahead and do the same process on the other side. Now we can take the rubber boot, and I'm going to install the speaker wire first so I don't forget. And then we can take some soapy water, just spray that around the edge of the rubber boot, and it's going to help to pop that back into place. And the first thing we're going to worry about is getting the hole over that stud. So I'll go ahead and clean some of that soapy water off. And after that, we've got two O-rings we're going to apply grease to and then set in the two grooves on that stud. Then we can wipe off any excess grease, reinstall the jam nut, make sure the flat side is facing out. Screw the mirror on and tighten down the jam nut. Then we'll go ahead and do the same process on the other side. Next, we're going to install the roof. So to get this installed, we have a 5mm Allen and 13mm 6mm combo wrench. And then, this is the hardware that comes with the kit. So you've got 4 spacers, 4 washers, 4 nylock nuts, and 4 bolts. And then you're going to have 3 foam tape strips. Now with these strips, this is the bigger strip, and this bigger roll actually has 2 shorter strips in it. And then we're using soapy water to clean the roll cage, and you want to refer to the instructions throughout the process. So we're going to start out by cleaning off the roll cage with that soapy water and a rag. Then we're going to remove the backing from the longer piece of foam tape, and we're going to go across the front on the top of the roll cage. And then we'll do the shorter 2 strips on the sides. And we'll finish the roof installation once we install the other accessories. So from here, we can move on to installing the windshield. To start out the process, we've got a 39-inch foam strip in this windshield kit that's going to go across the top of the filler panel. Now with these foam strips, for me it's easiest to stick one side down and then peel the rest of the backing off of it, lay it all in a straight line, and press it down. Now that we have the foam tape in place, we're going to take the 2 bolts, washers, and nylock nuts over to the machine and install the filler panel. The filler panel is going to mount up to these pre-existing holes in these gussets right here. So we're just going to set this in place. Then we've got a washer on one of those bolts. We'll go through both of those holes and install the nylock on the back side. Next, we're going to remove the protective film from the inside of the windshield. So the inside is the side where these bottom corners, they fold in. Now for the protective film on the outside, we're just going to peel it back a couple of inches. And then from there we can install the bulb seal onto the window. Now with this, keep in mind the seal itself is going to be facing the inside, and then if this fits loose at any point, you can always squeeze this together and it's going to fit tighter. Now with this bulb seal, I like to just get it started all the way across and make sure it's centered, and then I can finish pressing it on the rest of the way. And then if you have any extra length, you can go ahead and trim that off. Now that we have the bulb seal in place, we're going to take the knob, set that washer on there, and then we have this little rubber grommet. Press that down, and we're going to take a Sharpie. We're going to set the windshield in place. We'll put the knob through the top and screw this into the filler panel, and then we're going to make some marks on this paper on the other side. And I'm just adjusting this up so it fits good against the hood. And once you've got that figured out, you can lightly tighten down this knob. Then we've got the filler panel underneath. We're going to mark right where the bottom of that filler panel meets the windshield. And then from here we can go ahead and take the windshield back over to the bench, and we'll have this paper side facing down. Next, we're going to take the 2 thicker strips that came with the windshield, and we're going to put one end on the line we just made. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but that's exactly where it is. We can just barely see it through that paper. Verify you have this in the right spot, and then go all the way down to that bottom corner. We're going to cut the excess off. We'll remove the adhesive backing and lay this strip in place. And we'll go do the same thing on the other side. Next, we'll take the 1/8 inch foam strip and we're going to peel just a little bit of the backing off. And with this one, you just want to, peel the backing off as you go because we're going to be making some corners. So we're going to start right where this 1/4 inch strip ends, and we're going to go all the way to the other side where the other 1/4 inch strip begins. Now we can set the windshield in place. I'm going to start by removing this protective film. Then once you have it past the notch for the knob, I'm going to set that in place so it holds everything together. And we've got that knob loose, so we can still move the windshield around for the best fitment. So once you have this where you want it, the goal is to get that bottom edge to lightly seal against the hood. So we've got that in position. Now we're going to take the Velcro clamps and install them. So all you have to do is we're going to wrap this around the roll cage. We'll go through that notch in the windshield. We'll loop it around this bar in the clamp. And then we're not pulling it tight yet, we're just pushing that strap back through the notch. Then once the clamp is in place, we can pull this tight, verify this is exactly where you want it, and if it's not, make some final adjustments. So I'm going to push it down just a little bit, and we're going to tighten it up and press that Velcro strap down, and then we're going to do the same thing for the remaining 3 clamps. And then we're going to lightly tighten down that knob to where it just barely presses down on that gasket. Next, we're going to get the rear window installed. So that window comes with these clamps. You've got your hardware and the bulb seal. And right here we have the rear window. We need to get this thing ready. So I've got this on a blanket to keep it from being damaged, and we're going to remove the protective film from both sides. Now we're going to install the bulb seal to the bottom 3 sections on the window, and this should just press on and fit on tight. If there's any spots that don't fit tight, you want to squeeze that bulb seal together and press it back on. Next, we're going to remove our passenger seat and slide the driver's seat forward. Next, we have this T40 Torx head screw that we're going to remove. It's right next to the seat belt mount. Now we're going to mount the L brackets into those locations on both sides, and this part sticking up, that's going to be facing forward. I'm just going to leave that a little loose until we have everything mounted up. To get the rear window installed, we're going to have to come in through the cab, and then the 2 slots in the side, we're going to work those behind the roll cage on the passenger side, and then we can do the same thing on the driver's side. Next, we're going to install the clamps. We've already removed all of the hardware from these. We'll start by wrapping around the rubber strip. We're doing these on the top roll cage first, and we're just lining them up with the holes. And then when we install the clamp, this flat portion is going to go against the window, So we'll put it in the correct position, install the top, and lightly install the 2 bolts. And then we'll go through and do all of those same steps at all of the mounting locations. Now just keep in mind, for the side roll cage clamps, this flat portion is going to be on the inside of the window. So now that you know where the rear window is going to sit, you can go ahead and straighten up these L brackets and tighten them down. Now the 2 bolts that came in the kit that take the 4mm Allen, we're going to take those, install a washer onto them, then we're coming through the back side of the window. You've got a spacer that goes on there. Then you're going to adjust that rear window. And then you're going to go through the L bracket and install the nut. We're going to leave these loose. We'll install the rest of the hardware all the way around the window and make final adjustments and then tighten everything down. And then for the roll cage clamps, we have the bolt and washer going through the windshield. So we did end up having to make a few adjustments with the roll cage clamps as far as their positioning on the roll cage as well as the positioning against the window. So once you have that all set up, we're going to start at these bottom 2 bolts and we're going to tighten these down first. And with this hardware, you just want to snug it up. You don't want to damage the window. Then we can go ahead and tighten up the roll cage clamps and the mounting hardware. Next, we're going to install the roof and tighten down the 4 bolts. Next, we're installing the Tusk Cargo Barricade. So this is the hardware that comes with it. We have a trim piece. You're going to need a 4mm Allen, 10mm socket, and a T40 Torx bit. To start out, we're going to remove the 4 M6 T40 Torx bolts out of the back of this bed right here. After that, we're going to install the brackets. So we're taking the longer bolts, we've got the washer on them, put that through the hole in the bracket, that's just a single hole. You've got these 2 coming up, then you've got a spacer, and then we'll just thread this into that existing hole. And we'll do that for the other bracket as well. Now with these loosely installed, we're going to set the Barricade in place and then reinstall the two M6 T40 Torx bolts that we removed from these top corners. And again, we're leaving those a little bit loose. Then we can go ahead and install these 4 smaller bolts that came in the hardware pack. And we're going to put the nylock nuts on the inside of this Barricade. Next, you want to center up the trim piece, and then we're going to start in the middle and press this up around that top edge of the Barricade. And that's how easy it is to install the Tusk Stage 3 Upgrade Kit on your Polaris Pro XP. Now, if you have any questions about this install process, make sure you leave those questions down in the comments below. And if you need this kit, make sure you pick it up on our website. We also have a lot of other accessories on there, so check those out. And if you want to see more videos on these Pro XPs, make sure you go to our channel and subscribe. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain. Thanks for watching.